A Light in the Darkness Chapter 61b, 62 Fan Fiction by Azazyel. As three gargantuan monsters that filled the sky screeched, roared, and hissed as they did their best to kill us, I grinned viciously as I took off on my slime hook, taking me through the trees that filled the forest. As I flew past those elves that blinked in surprise seeing me back, I took out my mini shark and introduced those brain-dead racist elves to the glory of a minigun spraying hot lead in their direction, making their acrobatics stumble and dash around even harder to avoid the bosses that alternated between hunting me and them as they lost sight of me in the thick forest. Chapter 62. The Dis sisters were definitely level 6. Only Ais and Finn could move as fast and fluently without faltering as three monster REXs rampaged, destroying the surrounding forest. But regardless of their higher level, my hit-and-run tactics with a minigun of all things led to them getting shot a few times as they couldn't dodge or block every bullet while still keep moving. Unfortunately, my simple musket ball rounds only gave the level 6 wearing only thin dancers' clothes dark bruises as their hardened adventurer flesh repelled the metal balls like they were instead non-lethal rubber ones. Damn it, just let us go, you bastard. Vina the dark elf screeched as I used my grappling hook to zip away from her as I switched from my minigun to shoot at her with my magnet cannon, making her screech as the maser-like gun shot a circular ring of air that was superheated and chock full of electromagnetic energy, so when it collided it basically acted like getting shot with both a bolt of lightning and getting a boulder slammed into you for an instant. I didn't answer Vina's damned as I shot one of my slime hooks towards Dina and made her slide across the ground to avoid getting clotheslined by the sticky chain that was shot past her. Wordlessly I sprinted away from Dina as she continued chasing me with her wielding some dual swords after easily dodging my magnet cannon shots, but I didn't consider my shots taken at her as wasting my mana as it bought me the time for the Eater of Worlds to screech as it tore through the ground between us, separating us as it whirled onto her as it saw her first and began breathing a deluge of green cursed fire at her. You fucking human, I will enjoy breaking your mind and ego personally. Vina yelled as she used some kind of spell to create a stack of 10 red magical circles that hovered over the Eater of Worlds' head for a split second as it went to lunge back at her sister Dina, and then with a loud sound of air combusting and screech like plasma being used to weld, a pillar of bright blue flames locked in place carved through the Eater of Worlds, and although her powerful flames burnt away and killed several chunks of the Eater of Worlds. The thing about the Eater of Worlds was that it was literally basically dozens of worms locked together, and as she carved and burned through them, the nascent intelligence binding the creature together split apart, and I blanched as now there was like 50-something flying Eater of Worlds chunks flying chaotically in the air hunting the three of us as the Desert Scrooge and the Eye of Cthulhu continued their actions. I would say the same about breaking you and having you birth me some good little half-elves, but they say don't stick your dick in crazy. I retorted before I grinned as I continued. Well, that. And you two are old spinsters incapable of actually finding a man who wants even a twin-paired deal like you two. I said viciously as although I didn't know how old they were, being elves and all. But as their bloodlust spiked, Dina, the dual-wielding swordsman, screeched and literally carved through the Eye of Cthulhu that was between her and me. I realized I hit a berserk button. But as she came within feet of me, she was smashed into the ground by the multi-ton weight of the Sand Scrooge, who, like a boot on an insect, dragged its armored and scaled form over her form as it turned to rush towards her sister Vina. Dina, get up! Vina yelled as Dina blankly got up, and my vision became white as an all-consuming deluge of lightning hit the widespread bosses. I recognized Hadine's chain lightning spell that was also aimed at Dina, who with unseen before speed rolled and all but flew across the ground as she grabbed her sister and took off at a sprinting speed faster than anything I had seen before. But my snarl at them running away into the endless forest was cut off as the Desert Scrooge had to be killed along with the Eye of Cthulhu as Hadine's lightning spell bounced between the two of them and killing the far more fragile Eater of Worlds chunks that couldn't withstand the full might of one of the strongest mages in Ororio unloading on its singular segments. Don't kill it yet. I roared as I sprinted towards the girls, who looked back confused at my yelling, but as Hadine, of course, didn't follow my damned order, I saw the Eater of Worlds goodie bags falling to their feet and they blinked in surprise and smiled as they leaned down to grab it. I shot at them with my minigun, making them flinch and giving my slime slingshot time to zip over and steal their goodie bags. Fuck you bitches, you get nothing. I yelled triumphantly as the other two bosses died in less than 5 seconds, as Otter and Hayden pincered around the two Evelys girls, who just rolled their eyes at the Freya members collapsing around them. Vina looked at her counterpart in Hayden with their contrasting skin tone and hair color, and smiled a demented thing as her hand held her sister's waist, and her sister likewise stared at Hogni, who grimaced seeing the light-skinned counterpart that was so opposite of him. "How are you alive? I cut you down all those years ago," Hogni quietly demanded as he eyed Dina, who smiled psychotically as she held her bare chest that had several gouges across it after the desert scourge ran over her. "Ah, Hogni, don't you know about the true love between pure elves transcends love and death?" she demanded with an insane grin before it instantly died, and her head tilted to the side. "Oh, my dear Hogni, I still love you. But after you tested my love, I will do the same, and if you come back after I kill you like I did, I will love you forevermore, my darling," she crowed as she all but panted with her blue eyes turned a glowing red, making me frown at how it was so alike to the dungeon monster's red eyes. I felt a bit like a third wheel as the Freya elf squared up with the Dis sisters, but as I stowed away the Eater of Worlds and the rest of the bags, I saw and heard the psycho twin girls sigh in unison as they eyed Hogni and Hayden. "Well, obviously we failed our mission, so toodles," they said with false cheeriness as they threw me a childish look of annoyance in my direction as they walked away, and before I could shout or do anything to stop them the earth shook as a literal army of large plant monsters broke through the ground beneath us, and I snarled as Freya's adventurers were hemmed in as the army of what I knew to be Velas surrounded us. "Fuck it. Hold on to me so I can get us out of here. We have no idea how many of these things there are," I said tiredly as the Freya adventurers likewise bore nasty looks before they looked to Otter for his opinion. "Lady Freya ordered us to escort Jake home and do some shopping for her at Jake's shop. Us leaving now is exactly what she ordered," he said dully as he laid a bear's paw of a hand onto my shoulder, and within a second and a half, the other Freya adventurers laid their hands on me,